Okay, let's talk about the New South Wales election campaign trail, because that is certainly heating up. We saw the Liberal Party launch yesterday. You're heading to New South Wales today. What did you think of this kind of future fund for children? Essentially, the government putting money into piggy banks for kids. Labor said no, they're not going to support it because essentially it affects richer families. Is that true?
Well, I think I'm not going to give gratuitous advice on state policy, but I think we need to understand that there's only so much of Australian taxpayers' money that can go around, and we need to prioritise that, and that's about making sure we get the basics right. So as I was out up in New South Wales 2 weeks ago. Well, I'm not over the detail of it, so I'm not going to give gratuitous advice, but what I did hear while I was on the ground was about the cost of living pressures that families were hearing as I'm heading to Wagga today and then into Cooma and places around New South Wales, as well as their roads. They want their potholes fixed, and what the National Party did was bring some common sense to this at a state level. They put $1 billion into fixing potholes. And I just say to the federal government, if you matched it, it'd go a long way to those roads and saving lives and making sure that we can get that product onto people's plates a lot quicker. So look, the New South Wales government is trying to face up to a challenge that many states have. Probably they're more acute in terms of young people getting into housing. We're all trying to address that. One of the ways I think they should also turn their mind, along with local government, is about the planning pen, about making sure that they can get stock into the system quicker, because if you increase supply, you reduce prices.
Just one final one. We just had Matt Cunningham back on the show with some breaking news that the president of the CLP is in fact quit because their formal opposition to The Voice, saying that doesn't seem it's not reflective in his view of what the electorate wants, including Aboriginal people. What do you say to that?
Well, everyone has their own view on The Voice. Ours is one of respect, but one of genuine intent to close the gap. And adding another layer of bureaucracy to the already 1,000 Indigenous representative bodies to Australian government at the moment will not close the gap. Okay. Practical measures about how the bureaucracy works, better bureaucracy, not bigger bureaucracy, what will close the gap. And that's why the Nationals took our position, because we represent those communities that are most disadvantaged. Many of the ones in the cities that the opportunity of disadvantage has been addressed, but it's in the remote areas that the Nationals represent that we've had this view. But there's no malice in our position. We want a respectful debate. There are people in our party that don't support our position, but there are many that do, and that's a good thing. And have diversity in politics. And I suspect if you ask some of those Labor right people, they're probably with us. They probably see that the Nationals actually are talking some common sense on this one, and they'd like to be able to express that view, but aren't able to because of the rigid nature of the Labor Party, and they'll be disendorsed. We don't do that in the National Party. We actually celebrate diversity. We celebrate diversity of ideas. We come from it from different directions. Because we have that diversity, we get better policy outcomes. We bring common sense to Canberra. That's the National Party way.
Okay, we'll see how this by-election goes. It might give us a bit of a litmus test in the territory to see where this is all at. As always, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.